Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just DCTV and the Arrowverse as a whole. And with the end of Superman and Lois around a week and a half ago, roughly, actually probably closer to 2 weeks ago, I guess, comes the end of DCTV on the CW and the Arrowverse. But I guess DC as we knew it, as will be changing with a connected universe across film and TV under James Gunn, that of course already underway with Creature Commandos a few episodes in already. But one thing that is always looked at with a show is how it ends, as in the quality of its series finale. And in this video, we are going to rank from worst to best the various series finales for the Arrowverse shows on the CW, and the shows that qualify are shows that had more than one season and premiered after Arrow. So those shows that are eligible are, of course, Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, Legend of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, Batwoman, Stargirl, and of course, Superman and Lois. Now, of course, one of the big things is that some of the shows did not have planned final seasons or planned series finales, so they're not really proper series finales, but they are, I guess technically they're still labeled because they are the finale episode of the series. So some were advertised but weren't planned, like Stargirl, for example, but some are just labeled as series finales now, but were never meant to be, such as Legends and Batwoman. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on this stuff. Leave your rankings if you want to. You can just leave a top 3 or just leave a rankings of the shows you've actually watched or the series finales you've watched. Always curious to where you guys are thinking and just where your rankings line up. I feel like there'll be like some similarities, but this is probably one where there could be a lot of varied, rankings. One, because there's 8 options, but 2, because I just think some might have a different third place, second place, maybe even a different first place. I don't know. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down there in the comments, both in regards to your rankings as well as your opinion on mine. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show support, drop a like. It takes 2 seconds. So let's just get straight into it. Let's not beat around the bush too much. And at last spot, the worst spot, if you really want to put it, at number 8, I actually have Batwoman. Now, just hear me out when I say all these. Don't get too angry or, whatever. Even though I don't know how many people will be angry at Batwoman being last, but I'll explain it. So Batwoman ended on its 3rd season, which is probably its best season for the most part, or at least most consistent season throughout it for most viewers, with it not really having any hint at a series finale in its season 3 finale, with it actually setting up a villain for season 3 that we have just seen take a larger role in a new DC TV show, that being Dr. Phosphorus on Creature Commandos. He was set up in the cliffhanger for season 3, leading into the hoped season 4. Now, whether he was actually like a major villain or just something to lead into it, I'm not too sure, but he was set up. And like another show on this list, they took a risk knowing that their show wasn't set for renewal. There was no real, extreme likelihood that it would happen. There was just like a 50-50 chance, I guess. They took the risk, but then again, they were only 3 seasons deep, so it's hard to blame them for taking a swing. But I think if you include the fact there was no real finality to it and just the overall quality of the episode, I think it finishes in last spot, though it's not like the season 3 finale is really a bad episode. And number 7, very similar, I guess, we have Legend of Tomorrow, but unlike Batwoman, Legend of Tomorrow, when it was in its 7th season, when it came to an end, and like Batwoman, they did not have a series finale suggestion at all in their final episode. They said goodbye to some characters, but the show was intended to continue, with the show ending with the remaining Legends crew, as well as Booster Gold, might I add, being arrested and sent to time prison. Now, simply, it ranks higher than Batwoman just due to it, in my opinion, being a bit better in quality. The finale specifically I'm talking about, it's a better episode than some higher up on this ranking, as in my opinion as well, but like Batwoman and just not having any real finality to it, it just can't climb any higher than that, number 7 in my opinion. At number 6, here is the first show that actually had a series finale that was labeled as one, and that is Black Lightning. And yeah, I think it's worst out of the bunch in regards to ones that actually had a final thing. If you've watched it, you know it was pieced together fairly awkwardly and just comes across as messy. It feels like a really bad way to say goodbye to the show. All that's really to say, that's how I view the finale, at least. To be fair, I've only watched it once when it was airing, but it just felt like it felt like there was no real motivation put into it, if that makes sense. At number 5, I have no idea if this is controversial. Maybe people think I've put it too high. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure if this is a hot take to have it here or whether it should be lower or higher on the list, but I have The Flash. Now, I actually like the finale for the most part, but the start of the finale with the villain takedown is bad, where it should lose some spots. But I honestly think, everything after that is done pretty well. Sure, there's some you roll your eye moments, which happen in a lot of finales. Like, the one thing I always remember in the back half is like the Cecile Joe thing, which felt like it wasn't necessary. But I think a lot of the stuff in the after that villain takedown thing is pretty good, if not great. And I think the final moments of the show with Barry are as good as you can do it, in my opinion. Really, I think most of the stuff in this series finale for the Flash with Barry is done great. Whether it is the Flash stuff with him or the Barry stuff with Iris and just his family and friends and everything like that. I like it a lot. But yeah, the opening, what is it, like quarter, maybe a third of the episode, if you want to push it, of the episode, with the returning villains and their lackluster takedowns, it's pretty bad. And actually, the opening of the episode's good, where it's like, Cobalt Blue recruiting all the villains, like that's pretty well done as well. But when it's actually like heroes versus villains, and you have like Allegra like defeating Reverse Flash, and like Cecile doing the weird thing on Godspeed, even though Godspeed, I don't know if it was necessarily this like, a lot of like, rep around him, if you want to put it. But yeah, that's pretty bad, and you would have wished they'd done that differently. So it has to lose points due to that. But I think everything after that villain stuff is pretty good, to the point where I don't think it's lower down this list, though obviously it's not anywhere close to the top. And at number 4, yeah, this might be the most surprising, I have Supergirl at number 4. Now, overall, I did not love Supergirl as a show. Has, in my opinion, more misses than hits, I think. But I think the finale of Supergirl, just focusing on the finale and not the final season as a whole, is pretty damn solid. And I think it was pretty fitting for the core of the show. Sure, the ending with her revealing her identity did have people questioning it just due to the larger Arrowverse out there. If she was still in her own world, it might not be that dramatic or controversial, though Superman would probably be standing there going like, what are you doing? Could have given me a heads up before dropping that bomb. But yeah, it is not a very action-packed finale. But then again, if you do remember, if you watched the Supergirl finale when it was airing, they aired this as a 2-hour finale with 2 episodes. So this is the second half that is actually labeled as the series finale, and it's the more calmed down wrap-up hour of the 2. But I actually think it's the better half of the 2 episodes. I think the first half, with all the action, all the fighting, isn't that great. I actually think the better half of that finale, night, is the second half, which is properly labeled as the series finale. And number 3, and to be honest, when I was getting ready to think of this ranking list over and over and go through my memories of each respective series finale, I didn't think this would be that high up, and that's Arrow, because I think there is a reaction on my channel to this finale, and it being number 3, I wasn't too sure where it would go, but I had sort of checked out emotionally with Arrow during Crisis and the episodes of Arrow before that. Those to me were the better and I guess more suiting finale episodes for the show and the character of Oliver Queen. But I think the series finale of Arrow, despite it being weird because, well, Oliver Queen was of course dead at this point, it still serves as a decent wrap-up for the core elements of the show. And I think it has a nice wrap-up of Oliver truly saving his city and how he leaves it. Of course, he had the new life hack of being the Spectre at that point, but, don't hate the player, hate the game. So, yeah, while I maybe wasn't as invested going into it at that point as some of the other finales, some low on this list, like The Flash and stuff like that, over Arrow, I think Arrow still brought us a more solid and, funnily enough, satisfying finale, despite Oliver actually not being alive during it. And number 2, I don't know if it just misses out on number 1, but it's really solid, and that's Stargirl. Now, I must say, if you told me heading into watching this series finale, around like two and a bit years ago, I think it was, and said this would be one of your favorites, I probably wouldn't believe you. Not because I didn't like Stargirl. I love Stargirl as a show. It would have been just down to the fact that we knew this was a quickly put together series finale and it wasn't a planned final season, and the series finale just had something tagged on the end just in case the show was not renewed for a season 4, which ended up being the case. Stargirl ended in season 3, like Batwoman, but put together some form of finality to the show and its characters, and it sort of works as a series finale due to the show itself almost ending a chapter of its own story where the characters would have moved into bigger and better things going forward anyway. So it allows little things to be added to it that make it work as a series finale. And because the season and the finale itself was as good as it was as a series finale, just as a season finale, might I say, and because the season and the finale itself was as good as it was, even just as a season finale, adding those small things to make it work as a series finale don't really take anything away from it, and it's still a great episode. I wouldn't say it's satisfying because you knew there was more to work with going forward, but it's still the second best, in my opinion, at the very least. And at number 1, if you've been playing at home, checking off the names and stuff like that, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise. And at number 1, we have Superman and Lois. And look, You know, recency bias, is that a thing here? Maybe, I don't know, but I think it's just the best series finale of the bunch. I think it nails it in every part where it needed to. The only like minor nitpick of a criticism, if you really want to put it, is maybe that like the out of place scene with Jordan and Sarah, because the actress wasn't there on the day to film with the other cast members, so they had to do something with her separated from everyone else. But it has the action, the emotion, and the satisfaction you want when saying goodbye to a show, but also when remembering it. I think this is the clear number one, though I still pretty much enjoy like all of these series finales outside of maybe one of them, which is probably Black Lightning. I think the Superman and Lois series finale is just a clear winner. Though I would have been very interested to see if like Stargirl was in a similar situation where they knew it was their final season they could plan, would that have been better than Superman and Lois? I think they would have been very, very close because, yeah, Superman and Lois just had that advantage of, you know, knowing it was your final season and being able to build up to that series finale throughout the entirety of the final season. But yeah, I think from what we have and, of course, what we got, Superman and Lois is number one. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your opinions on all this. How would you rank them from whether it's 8 to 1, or just your top 3, or just out of the ones that you've actually watched? Maybe you only watch Flash, Arrow, Stargirl, Superman, maybe Legends. I don't know. You can just do those rankings. Let me know in the comment section down below how you'd rank them and also your opinions on my rankings. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.